Hey everybody, welcome back, and if this is your first time here, welcome. Today is all about trying to get a beefier kick sound. I just love a really punchy, big kick sound. Now, that said, depending upon which kit I load, obviously I want to make sure that the kick drum is not overpowering that, but I do, I hope you get my point. So today's conversation, I'm talking about pretty much any module that has layers in it. The V71, 51, and 31 have 3 layers now, which is really cool. So recently, again, I was kind of going down the path of looking for one-shot wave samples, and a kick drum is really, a great place to add a, real acoustic sample, because it doesn't, while it still does have machine gunning per se, it has far less when you use an acoustic sample, a one-shot sample, as a sub-layer. Other drums, especially like snare toms, etc., you can, easily dial in by using velocity curves, etc. You can dial in one-shots to sound more natural. So, the harder you strike the snare drum, as an example, with a one-shot layer, sub-layer underneath, it will start firing as you get to your highest hits, your highest velocity hits. Anyway, kick drum, I've found from my experience using real acoustic samples, and I'll talk about that in a second, seems to just kind of be, it's easier to get a good sound. Now, that said, I started thinking about this recently, and that's what got me to today's video. I'm thinking, why do I need a one-shot sample in my kick drum? I don't know how many kick drums the V71 comes with, plus all of the effects that you can add. I just got to the point of sort of another one of those aha moments. I really want to go get acoustic drum samples, and I was thinking, really, why? Why can't I just build them inside based upon everything that's inside of this thing? Why do I have to go add something else? And that got me to today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and I'm using stock kits here. I'm using stock user kits, which is important because those are just blank canvases. There's really nothing going on there. And for today, I'm only using the V71, no VSTs. I have my 50X turned off, so we're only playing around with the 71. Give you an example of using these different layers just to see, hey, what can we get? And most importantly, I've not worked up any of this. This is literally, I had this idea of saying, hey, this would be kind of fun to share with you guys. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna start with a blank user kit. This is standard, just as is. So the V71, it has maple shell. So this is a maple shell. It says nothing in it at all. This is literally just a stock sound. I'll do an A-B when we're all done with this. So I'm gonna leave this kit as is, and I'm stepping it up to the next kit, and starting with the same exact instrument. Again, this is just the blank slate, empty user kit. Again, not adding anything to it as far as EQ, compression. This is literally just adding samples. And I'm gonna dial into, I'm going up to clap, sound effects, elements. And there are kick low frequencies. So specifically elements are labeled kick low frequency, so it's adding in these sub-layers. So let's just hear, I'm going to play the low frequencies, frequency 1, 2, 3, etc., and turn the mic off, and you're going to hear the difference. So again, this is just going from the straight kick, to now just adding the elements frequencies. Now, keep in mind, these are frequencies. So it literally is, you can kind of do the same thing with your EQ. But this just quickly gets you to a starting point. Also, under elements are attack. There are 4 low frequencies, kick low frequency 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's 5 attacks. Again, elements. So, here's my point. If you're trying to dial in your kick sound, rather than layering in a second kick, explore this element section and see if you can use your basic kick sound. If you're looking for more of that attack sound, obviously try one of these attacks. And if you're looking for the low frequency sound, you'll hear that. I'm going to play through the attack. And again, this is just the straight standard kick sound, now adding attack. I'm going to add in attack 1, 2, 3, etc. And this is experimentation. This is what I do. I just love dialing through this module, always thinking, what if? Now, again, you can go under compression and EQ, and you can dial these in even further. I'm just saying this is a great starting point. So now I have the straight kick sound plus low frequency. Again, in the 71, 51, and 31, there's a third layer. So just for giggles, let's add in another kick sound. And I'm just going to scroll through a whole bunch, but give you an idea of, okay, I've added frequency. Now I'm adding a second kick layer, and let's see what happens. So this video would be about an hour long if I went through every single combination, not even if I went through some of the combinations. Next up is kick others, where you have these completely different sounds. So not only do you have these regular kick sounds, but then Roland gives you these kick others. Again, cool to explore. Anyway, okay, in the spirit of not making this video 42 hours long, I've settled on the regular standard. I started with the regular standard kick sound. I added kick low frequency number 3, and now I am on kick sample number 11, which is NC, which I assume stands for Noble and Cooley SCP Maple. So this is literally having a standard maple plus a low frequency plus another layer of maple, and here's what we get. And that is, of course, I've not done any editing at all. This is nothing, 0 change. Shell depth, muffling is off, everything is as is. So my point here is that even before you start touching EQ compression and get bogged down with things that are highly complex, they really aren't, but they are. They take a while for you to kind of learn. Just start with the internal sounds and start doing layering. Now, the other thing with the 71, 51, 31, it has layer mode, and you can either do mix or velocity. And I tend to use velocity on the top drums because I want to add in layers the way the velocity works. Check it out inside your modules. But it's really cool because if you want to get the mixed blend, that's great. I do that too. I tend to use on the top of the kit, I use velocity, meaning the harder I strike, those second layers, those third layers of instruments or elements start to come in. As I said at the beginning, even looking at using samples, they don't kick in using velocity until you choose the point where they start to fade in. And it's really cool. I mean, I don't like something that is like off, on. I like something that gradually goes up, but the options are limitless because of the way the modules are built. So you can have that second layer kick in immediately, which is always cool. You know, say you want to have a tambourine on your snare on the harder hits, easily. You know, you just put velocity and just say, okay, when I get to that medium strike, all of a sudden the tambourine sound kicks in as a sub layer. But again, today is all about kick drums. I'm way off target. I'm way off topic here. So let's go back and do an A-B. Pretty cool, right? That's what I wanted to share today. I'm just saying, again, under the spirit of what if, you don't necessarily have to always think about instruments. You can think about, there are so many other different things you can do here. Before you jump into the deep end of the pool, sometimes it's fun to just stay in the shallow end, if you get my point here. Stay in the shallow end and just experiment there, so you're not completely overwhelmed, you know, with what these modules can do. Anyway, as always, hope you have a great day, and I hope as always, I hope these type of videos help you in your own eDrumming journey. And any questions or comments, leave it below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.